Watch closely. I'm gonna type meetings with 3 G's and then hit a space or tab and see what happens. Bam! My whole meeting notes are here. And that just saved me 30 seconds of frustration. Now watch this one. I'm gonna go to my email and I'm gonna type tickets with 3 T's. And then I'm gonna hit space or tab and see what happens. Bam! My whole template reply is here. And I don't have to repeat that over and over. There might be some repetitive tasks that you do for 10 seconds or even more, but if you do it 50 times, you are gonna waste a lot of minutes every single day. And I don't want to repeat those because those are not just 50 seconds or 10 seconds. These are all the speed bumps that will destroy my focus. And I want to focus on the things that are truly matter. I'm Ehsan, and in this video, I'm gonna share with you 3 AutoHotKey shortcuts that I use every single day to save my time. And if you stick to the end of this video, I'm gonna also show you how to make this process a little bit easier. So let's go with the first step, that you need to install the program. This is a safe and free program that you can install and download from AutoHotKey.com. And then if you go to their website, once you click on download, you are gonna see the different versions. Just keep in mind, I'm recording this video in 2025, so the version is 2 right now. But if you see this video in the future, you might see different versions. So just download the latest version, and once you install it, it's just easy as clicking on the next and finish, and then you are gonna see the icon here on the right corner, and you are gonna see the software is running. And you do not need to know how to do coding. You can use any AI to tell you what to do, what script you want to do, and just turn that and copy paste it into your file. But in this video, I'm gonna just show you some simple steps that is introducing you to the program. There are many other tasks that you can do with the AutoHotKey, but in this video, I'm gonna stick with 3 shortcuts that I use daily, that they are easy to do. And I'm gonna also put the link in the description below to download the exact script that I'm showing you in this video. Let's go to number 1, which is the text expansion. This is my number 1 time saver, and the way I use it is like this. Once you install the software, you go to your desktop, you do a right click, from new, go to AutoHotKey script. And once you do that, you are gonna name it anything that you want. In this case, I put Ehsan underscore AutoHotKey, AHK, and then just click on create. Now you have a script. But this script doesn't have any code in it. So if you do a right click and then open it with Notepad or Notepad++, then you see a blank page. You are gonna put your scripts here, and I'm gonna show you how to start with, let's say, Gmail. If I put 2 colons and then Gmail and then 2 colons and a space and my email, what happens is that if I write Gmail, it will get replaced by my email address. So I'm gonna save this and then double click on the script file. And then in this case, I have 2 different versions of my script. I'm gonna run it with the latest one. And then if I go to my email, for example, and then I'm just gonna type Gmail and then hit space or tab, it will get replaced by my email. But there is a problem with this. Every time you type Gmail with a space, then it will get replaced by your email. And you see the issue. So what happens is you have to use some sort of shortcuts. But the problem is every time I want to replace a shortcut with a text, I have to recall the shortcut itself. And that's difficult. For me, it's difficult to recall what shortcut I used. And you may not be like this, right? You might use some sort of shortcut that you can remember. So the rule for me is the first word that comes to my mind for that specific shortcut that I want to use, and then repeat the last letter 3 times. But let's show you something much more useful. Let's say I want to replace my address every time that I write address. So I write address over here and then just repeat the last letter 3 times. And now I have my address in the script. I'm gonna save this and then double click, run it with the version 2. And then here it's gonna ask you, you already have a script. Do you want to replace it? and then you say yes. And then now if I go to my email and then just type address or any other places, address with a tab or a space, then it will get replaced. Let's say you fill a form, you can use this shortcut and that makes your life easier. But let me show you one more specific example that I use in my day-to-day job. Let's say there are some steps that if someone asks me to do something for them, they have to follow. There are some specific steps, they need to do some preparation or something. Then I don't want to repeat myself over and over. I might have those steps written somewhere else. But if I have to go there, copy, and then come to the email and paste it, that is just going to take some more time. I want to have one shortcut for it. I'm not going to use that exact example. In this case, I'm showing you a ticket, for instance, but you get the idea. Let's say every time I get an email about something, this is my template, this is my constant reply. Just think of it, what you use more than once to tell someone, and just make a shortcut for it. So in this case, I just have this ticket reply and I don't want to copy paste this every single time. So what I do, I go to my script, open it with Notepad, and then go to the next line. And then I'm going to write 2 columns, ticket with 3 T's, and then 2 columns. And here, this is my script. And you can see this is a kind of coding, right? You have a bracket here and it says send text, and this takes you to the next line. You can decode this. This is not a difficult coding, but if you don't know, you can just replace these texts with your own, or you can just copy paste this text, go to any AI and say, I'm using AutoHotKey. This is the text that I have and I want to replace it by my own, and this is my own text. And the AI will do it for you, and then you copy paste it into your script. So you don't have to do any sort of coding. And then you save this, you double click and run it, and then replace. And now if I go to my email, let's say I get an email and then I'm going to type ticket with 3 T's and hit tab or space, and bam, I have my reply ready. I don't have to type this or copy paste it from somewhere else. This is going to just save a lot of my time and consistency. I don't have to recall and think about all those steps. It's ready and I can use it. And this is my #1 time saver. Every single day I use it. Now, I also have some sort of symbols that I want to get replaced. If there are some specific symbols that you use in your day-to-day life, you can replace it with a shortcut. So if I go to my code over here, let's say every time that I have this dash with this greater sign, I want to get replaced by an arrow. And you can do that. In this case, I haven't repeated the greater like 3 times because I want this combination to get replaced with an arrow every single time. But if you don't want to do that, you can repeat the last one 3 times. But in this case, this is how I set it up. Now let's go to the second shortcut that I use every time, which is the quick timestamp. And how I use this is when I have a file and I want to put a date right before the file name. Let's say I have created a presentation, or I have collected some logs, I have some data, and I want to share this with other people. I want to have that date right before the name. And that would be easy to just look at the calendar and see what is the date and then type it in. But that's just some few seconds that you have to do that, and that's just boring, and I don't want to repeat that. So what I do, I go to my script, and then I'm gonna have 2 columns with a date, and again with 3 E's, and then 2 columns again, and this is my script. And if I save this and run it, and then say yes, and if I go to my file and rename it and go to the beginning of it, then I'm just gonna type date with 3 E's and hit tab or space, and bam, I have today's date, the date that I created this file over here, and I'm done. But there are other times that I want to have the date and time together. Let's say you have reviewed something and the timestamp is important. You want to put the date and time. And you can type it in, you can look at your calendar and see the date and time, but that's just boring. So what I do, I will go to my script and then I'm gonna type again 2 colons, time with 3 E's, and then 2 colons again, and then I'm gonna use this script. And I have this script link in the description below, you can use it. And then let's say I'm gonna save this and run, replace. And if I go to any sort of places that I can type in, if I write time with 3 E's and then hit tab or space, it will stamp the today's date and exact time that you typed this in. So this is gonna help a lot of you that you need to type that, and this is just a text expansion part of the AutoHotKey that is very useful. Now let's go to the last application of the AutoHotKey, which is a combination of these two. Let's say I have to type in my meeting notes, and inside the meeting notes there is a date. So this is always constant, and I have this date for today, and I want to have this written every single time. So what I do, I have a combination of both. So I have 2 columns, meetings with 3 G's, 2 columns, and then this is the code. You will see it has the today, it has that part that stamps the date. You can also put the time, again, it's up to you. And this is the text that will send out when I type it in. And again, you don't have to write all of these. You can ask any AI to do it for you. You can also put the exact name of the people who attend. Let's say there are 10 people. You can write all the names here, and then after the meeting, you can delete the people who didn't show up, and that will save a little bit of your time. So if I save this, run, replace, now if I go to my email and then just type meetings with 3 G's, then hit space or tab, bam, I have my meeting notes ready. And believe me, if you do this while you are sharing your screen, all the people were asking, wow, what just happened? How you just type all of this at once? And you can tell them I learned it from Ehsan. You can share my YouTube channel with them. And I'm sharing here some workplace productivity tips, and this is going to help you to be more productive at your work. I don't know, I thought this is just smart to put my YouTube channel here. Let's go to the next one, which is how to run this program automatically. So every time you restart your computer or shut it down and start, there are some times that this program doesn't start on its own, and you have to go to the start and run it. And this is kind of annoying, right? Because you go to the meetings, you write with meetings with 3 J's, or you type date with 3 E's, and then nothing happens. So to tackle that, you have to run it every time, but it's annoying. So what you need to do is you have to tell the computer to run it for you every single time. And the way you can do this automatically is to just press Win and R, and there is a run that will show up. And then over here, you are going to type shell colon and a startup, and then hit OK. And this will take you to this folder. And you are going to copy paste your original file here, and bam, you are done. Every time now that you restart the computer, the program will pop up and will run behind the scene, and you don't have to run it again and again. But you have to update this file, right? Over time, you will see you need some shortcuts. What you can do is you can right click on this file and send it to desktop. That will create a shortcut, or you can copy and then go to your desktop, do a right click and paste shortcut. And now you have a shortcut to that file, and every time you open this with a notepad, you can add new shortcuts as you need to. So you are going to delete the other file so it doesn't make you confused to update the other one, and now everything is set. But there is one other issue that you might encounter. I'm going to explain that. There are some times that you might have different versions of AutoHotKey, and if you do this kind of automatic boot, it will not boot the program, and you might notice it and you might say, what is happening? I have done everything correctly, but the program doesn't run on its own when I do restart. So that's because you have different versions of the AutoHotKey. In this case, you can see I have two versions. There is a version 1 and a version 2. And what I need to do is to delete the older versions. So if you go to install app and then do uninstall, it's going to ask you what versions you want to uninstall. And I'm going to check the older versions and then uninstall them. And that way I now have one version, and every time you restart, you are going to see that you can see the icon on the corner of your windows. And that's it. Now you have seen 3 shortcuts that I use every single day to save my time and just focus on the things that are matter. And again, there are many other applications for AutoHotKey. And here I just showed you a few that you can apply in your workflow. And I hope this process makes your job easier and you can focus on the things that are more important, not the boring tasks, right? Repeating the same thing over and over. I hope you learned something. See you in the next video.